And this is what happens when you take two of the cringiest humans on earth, Kamala Harris and Drew Barrymore, and you put them together on camera, on a couch. The cringe that will result will be, well, it'll be exactly like this.
Now to the US, where actress Drew Barrymore, who has a talk show now, has been roundly mocked for her cringeworthy fawning over famous, or should that be infamous, trans activist Dylan Mulvaney.
There's so many things that infuriate me about this clip. So I imitated how do you find the courage to keep being the joy with her? It was so cringy, her fake smile.
2024 is a year Drew Barrymore won't soon forget. From being canceled by the American Book Society to facing criticism for going woke, the actress has endured significant challenges. Just as the controversy was beginning to settle, Barrymore's latest move left both fans and critics utterly shocked.
There's a meme going around online about how your interviews are so up close.
I know, I actually really am into this.
This one made me laugh. Look at this one.
Yeah.
Guys, can I be honest?
Yep.
Her eyeballs are touching.
So what went wrong? How did Drew Barrymore find herself in the middle of a media storm? And is there any way to recover from it? Stick around as we unpack the drama, the backlash, the evidence, and everything you need to know about her latest fiasco. Buckle up, this one's gonna be sizzling hot.
Not sure that this was the right move for the strike. I'm sure in her eyes it's the right move for her and the show, but as far as the WGA and SAG and Union Strong, not a great move.
Drew Barrymore's woes seem to be worsening by the day. Once hailed as America's sweetheart, Barrymore now appears to be clinging to her past glory as her every move in Hollywood draws intense backlash, and perhaps rightly so. Accused of going woke, she has faced relentless criticism from the media. And let's rewind a bit to understand why social media is roasting the former child star. Barrymore's troubles began when she decided to proceed with the production of her show despite the Writers Guild strike. If you recall, the Writers Guild of America announced an indefinite strike last year to demand fair wages and salaries. Major studios like Warner Brothers and Marvel Studios halted productions in solidarity with the underpaid workers. But the casting crew backed a week-long meeting to discuss health insurance and the labor arguments related to the creation of the Writers Guild's characters. But not Drew Barrymore. The actress chose to forge ahead with her highly controversial show during the strike, leaving many shocked. This decision ignited a media storm, with fans and social media users lambasting her for showing a lack of empathy toward the striking writers, who were picketing outside her studio to press home their demands, and holds a lasting banner to press forward the labor strike. And even her fellow celebrities joined in the backlash. Actor Joshua Malina notably tweeted his criticisms. Feeling the heat, Barrymore eventually reversed her decision to continue production and issued a public video apologizing for her actions.
Major studios like Warner Bros. And Marvel Studios halted productions in solidarity with the demands of the largely underpaid workers, but not Actor Joshua Malina tweeted, "Tired of the backlash,
I deeply apologize to unions. My decision to go back to the show, I didn't want to hide behind people, so I won't. And I won't polish this with bells and whistles and publicists and corporate rhetoric."
However, in a surprising turn of events, the Charlie's Angels actress deleted the apology video from her social media platforms and resumed production. This move infuriated pundits and fans alike, who wasted no time expressing their outrage. Many accused Barrymore of deceiving the public by issuing an insincere apology, claiming she never meant a word of it, and that, sorry, I've been so worried about you. Leading the charge among her critics was fellow actress and longtime friend Alyssa Milano, who did not hold back in expressing her disappointment.
I'm not sure that this was the right move for the strike. I'm sure in her eyes it's the right move for her and the show, but as far as the WGA and SAG and Union Strong, not a great move.
Being blasted on social media is one thing, but being called out by a close friend and longtime ally takes insincerity to a whole new low. Just when everyone thought Drew Barrymore had hit rock bottom, the actress managed to deliver some of the cringiest moments in TV history. Her controversial actions during the WGA strike had a disastrous impact on her show's ratings and viewership, leaving her in desperate need of a miracle to keep it afloat. In a misguided attempt to revive the show, Barrymore adopted a more touchy approach with her guests, hoping to forge a stronger connection with them, and by extension, her audience. From Hollywood heavyweights to social justice advocates, the ET actress began invading personal boundaries with all the subtlety of a marauding Ottoman army. This ill-conceived strategy only added fuel to the fire, leaving her reputation in even greater turmoil.
Ask people to come in really hard. Let me just say, when I did my very first show for AM Chicago back in 1984, there was no audience. I had accepted the job, but never asked, is there an audience? And I'd come from Baltimore where I had an audience. And I walked in the first day, there was no audience. I was like, I'm not gonna survive without an audience. And so we would go out on the street.
And did you notice? Some members of the live audience seemed visibly uncomfortable with Barrymore's overly cozy behavior. A few were even caught on camera cringing at her antics, and they weren't the only ones. Once the footage went public, the criticism came pouring in like a flood, leaving Barrymore reeling. In an instant, she went from being America's sweetheart to the punchline of countless jokes. The entire brouhaha reached its peak when Jimmy Fallon delivered a hilariously biting, yet seemingly harmless remark during Barrymore's appearance on his show.
You get really up close and personal. This is you interviewing Brooke Shields. Look at this. You guys are basically like spooning almost.
Yeah, and we got much closer than that at certain points.
Jimmy's spooning comment had the audience in stitches, but it was also a sharp critique of Barrymore's interviewing approach. We all know that a good interview is about revealing sides of celebrities we don't usually see, and it's the host's job to create a comfortable environment for their guests. This often involves sharing personal anecdotes or encouraging the audience to be warm and receptive. But on this particular occasion, our host had a particular interest in Jimmy's because he always spoons spicy food into Barrymore's infants. However, Barrymore's habit of touching every guest, kneeling before them, and even lying on the floor came across as a desperate attempt to seem relatable. Instead of fostering genuine connection, her actions felt insincere and overly performative. It's no surprise then that Jimmy Fallon followed up with yet another hilarious but pointed jab when he did this.
There's a meme going around online about how your interviews are so up close.
I know, I actually really am into this.
This one made me laugh. Look at this one.
Yeah.
Guys, can I be honest?
Yep.
Her eyeballs are touching.
Jimmy nailed it with his subtly scathing critique of his good friend. However, things took a sharp turn for the worse for Barrymore when she invited transgender woman Dylan Mulvaney to her show. Not only did Barrymore touch Dylan and end up on the floor with the guest, but she also knelt in front of her, making awkward statements like, "The floor feels safe," and similar remarks. It was by far the cringiest moment of them all. As expected, the media wasted no time piling on, condemning Barrymore for what many perceived as condescending behavior. Leading the charge in the wave of criticism was none other than Megyn Kelly.
To keep being the joy. That was the cringiest part of all. Oh my God, I can't. And for the listening audience, what made the clip controversial is Drew Barrymore got down on her knees and seemed to be praying at the transgender altar of Dylan Mulvaney, which as an image, I'll start with you again on this, Maddie, encapsulates a lot of what is driving actual biological women nuts about this whole evolution, which is trans women are coming into our locker rooms, in our sports, in our bathrooms, in our colleges and so on, and taking over. And we as women are expected to take the knee and just be thankful and say, you know, we appreciate what you're doing to us.
Megyn Kelly's relentless attacks hit Barrymore hard, but what truly devastated the embattled TV host was Megyn's unfiltered mockery of her facial expressions and mannerisms. According to Kelly, Barrymore's reactions throughout the show were insincere and carefully staged to appease the woke crowd. She accused Barrymore of enabling Dylan Mulvaney's so-called delusions and urged women to take a stand against what she described as the encroachment of transgender individuals into women's locker rooms, bathrooms, and sports. Meghan's fiery critique was sharp, but it paled in comparison to Candace Owens' blistering commentary. Owens didn't hold back, bluntly labeling Barrymore a liar and calling her actions deceitful. But
we should have been the ones to put an end to Dylan Mulvaney, but we didn't because we feel bad. And shouldn't we just feel bad for men that want to be women and mock us and put on lipstick and pigtails and call themselves a girl? I think not, Tucker, but woke culture says yes.
Candace Owens didn't hold back, delivering a scathing critique that unleashed a wave of backlash against Barrymore and the so-called woke mob. Many fans rallied behind the sentiments expressed by Candace and Megyn Kelly, openly stating that they didn't want transgender women in their sports, bathrooms, or locker rooms. However, this sparked a bigger question: where should trans women go when they need to use the bathroom, or which gender category should they compete in? It's a deeply divisive issue, presenting an intriguing societal dilemma. But, as always, Candace was ready with a sharp quip when addressing such situations. This is what the former Daily Wire host had to say to Barrymore and her woke supporters.
This is for women, this is for men, and you have people that are allowing men to compete.
Candace makes a valid point. If men want to transition into women, as Drew Barrymore seems to be advocating, they should have their own separate categories in sports. They shouldn't be allowed to compete in the same divisions as women, where they clearly have a competitive advantage. It's absurd to let biological men dominate women in combat sports. So yeah, I did try and screenshot a lot of things from, but you know what's even weirder? Drew Barrymore calling Kamala Harris Mamala. Haven't heard about that? Here's the scoop. Vice President Kamala Harris appeared on Drew Barrymore's show for a lively conversation. And in a desperate attempt to boost her ratings, Barrymore coined a new, somewhat baffling nickname for Kamala.
Keep thinking in my head that we all need a mom. I've been thinking that we really all need a tremendous hug in the world right now. Yeah. But in our country, we need you to be Mamala of the country.
Mamala? Really? The term sounded awkward and lackluster, which is probably why it didn't take off as Barrymore had hoped. To make matters worse, Kamala Harris's campaign team dropped it faster than you can say cringe, so it came as no surprise when people saw through the gimmick and called Barrymore out. One commenter posted under the video, "This is the most staged interview I've seen so far. It's so cringe." Another added, "Hollywood really messed up Drew Barrymore." Interestingly, the bashing didn't stop with the commenters. Several media personalities also joined in, blasting Barrymore for what they saw as a desperate attempt.
Uncommented under the video, "This is the most staged interview I've seen so far. It's so cringe." Another also added, "Hollywood really messed up Drew Barrymore."
You know, if it were somehow possible to harvest and harness a moment of cringe, and then convert the cringe energy into a weapon of some kind, a bomb, let's say, a cringe bomb, then I think this moment right here could be made into a bomb 100 times more powerful than the one we dropped on Hiroshima.
Matt Walsh referred to it as a cringe bomb fest, and honestly, it's hard to disagree. The two women are notorious for some of the most awkward moments in recent memory. On one side, you have Kamala Harris, whose political rhetoric often takes a back seat to her bizarre public moments. Who could forget her infamous "children of the children" comment?
Understanding the children of the community are the children of the community.
On the other hand, there's the ever-pleasing, ever-grating, ultra-woke Drew Barrymore, who seems willing to do anything to boost her show's ratings. The combination of Barrymore and Kamala was like a match made in woke heaven, the envy of the woke brigade. But, Matt Walsh pointed out something interesting that you might have missed. When Barrymore coined the Mamala term, Kamala Harris appeared genuinely surprised, and for a few seconds, didn't know how to respond. It was almost as if she was taken aback by Barrymore's sycophantic, opportunistic comment. This is particularly curious, because you'd expect the woke crowd to be in sync with each other's terminology, yet Kamala seemed bewildered by Barrymore's words. Nonetheless, Walsh didn't hold back, mercilessly mocking Barrymore for asking Kamala to give the country a big hug and become its mother. He opined that Kamala doesn't have what it takes to be America's mom, at least if we're going by the term's probable implications. According to Walsh, A better fit would be Hillary Clinton, another astute member of the woke brigade. Oh, by the way, Hillary Clinton did say no to Robert Waksky's 1991.
Of all the people to say that to, Kamala Harris is the last one. She is the least qualified for the role of national mom. Not that I think it's a role that anyone should necessarily be filling, but I mean, honestly, it would make, and I know this sounds like an exaggeration, but it would make more sense.
One wrote, when even Kamala looks at you like you're just out there, you know it's not good. Not even NASA can reach Drew Barrymore. That chick is just gone. Friggin' Pluto. Another commenter added, it's hard to credit that Barrymore is 49 years old. She's been acting like an emotionally unbalanced 15-year-old for decades. I feel a little sorry for her. This commenter thought that the actress should respect her guest's personal space when they wrote, Drew Barrymore is notorious for not having boundaries with personal space. For the love of God, stop touching people. Stop invading their space. So uncomfortable. Drew.
Fans largely agreed with Wash, believing Hillary Clinton would have made a great mom to America. However, they were just as unforgiving toward Drew Barrymore, leaving some spicy remarks in the comments section. One user wrote, when even Kamala looks at you like you're just out there, you know it's not good. Not even NASA can reach Drew Barrymore. She's gone freaking Pluto. Another commenter added, it's hard to believe Barrymore is 49. She's been acting like an emotionally unbalanced 15-year-old for decades. I feel a little sorry for her. Several others pointed out Barrymore's lack of boundaries with her guests. One wrote, Drew Barrymore is notorious for not respecting personal space. For the love of God, stop touching people. Stop invading their space. It's so uncomfortable. It seems Barrymore is trying desperately hard to stay relevant in the ever-evolving Hollywood woke landscape, but her methods have earned her immense criticism. If she wants to attract more viewers to her sinking show, the current woke approach won't help. It's in her best interest to drop the act and return to being America's sweetheart. With that, we draw the curtain on today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like